What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and does anyone remember those UFOs? You know, those UFOs that were invading America. I mean, every 5 minutes we were tracking one or shooting one down. You know that happened just a couple of days ago, right? Yet somehow it feels like a distant memory because the mainstream media and the general public have already moved on. They've already moved on from this story. It's like we weren't just being invaded by foreign objects a couple of days ago. I mean, for the first time in the history of America, we're shooting down foreign objects in the sky over our cities and towns, and now it's yesterday's news. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why I don't always buy that everything's a distraction theory. I understand that the government does things to distract us. They put news stories out there to distract us from other news stories. But it's 2023. Is it really worth the effort to try to distract us when Americans have the attention span of an average TikTok video? Americans have about a 30 to 45 second attention span. You don't have to distract us. By tomorrow, most people will forget. And that's what's happening right now with this UFO situation. And honestly, I'm beginning to think that this whole everything is a distraction narrative is the real psyop. Because what happens is, I'm watching Americans and just people in general move on from things saying, oh, that's a distraction, when in reality, we should be focused on it. We should be pushing for answers. We need to be pushing for answers for what in the heck is flying over our heads right now. But instead, everyone's like, it's a distraction. Let's go worry about, I don't know, what's happening on TV and sports and stuff. It's not like people are super preoccupied by some other story. No, it's just, oh, it's a distraction. And I always see this argument online, and I'm starting to notice that a lot of times it comes from people who will not take the time to understand these news stories. So while a lot of people labeled the UFOs as a distraction and they moved on, people like me have been left behind to try to dig through the nonsense to get to the truth of whatever happened here. And now, the people who are still looking into the situation, they're trying to gaslight us. They're trying to cover up whatever happened. They're trying to cover up whatever those objects were in the sky. And now they're putting nonsense out there. Like, oh, it might have been car dealership balloons. Like the Air Force would scramble fighter jets to track a freaking car dealership balloon that floated somehow all the way across the world to America. I mean, come on. But this is the type of nonsense they're telling us now. And this is why it's important for people not to say everything's a distraction. Because the majority of people have said that. They've moved on from the story. And now the rest of us who are still looking into this, they're not even trying. They're not even trying. They're just giving us weak excuses that make literally no sense. Which goes to show that there was something here to begin with. And I've told you all since day one of this story, it doesn't matter if these UFOs are aliens, Russia, China. It doesn't matter if America is the one doing it. At the very end of the day, there is still something to get to the bottom of here. Even if all we find out is that, hey, turns out we've been getting spied on our whole life. Turns out these flying foreign objects have been over our head our entire life. And if that's all we find out, then I'm comfortable with that because we did not know that as of last week. And that alone is mind-boggling enough, if you ask me, knowing that while I record this video, there may be a foreign object in the sky from a different country listening in to our conversations. So there's no way that we come out the other side of this without gaining more knowledge about what's really happening in our world, in our country, and with our military, in our skies. This is an important story. This isn't a story that we should run away from because it's a distraction. It's a story that we should demand answers for, whatever those answers may be. And we should continue to dig into it because there are agendas at play here. Maybe they're just now releasing this information for a reason, but what is that reason? These are things that we need to know. Now, yesterday, the Senate had a secret briefing about these UFOs. They were given information that is not available to the general public. And I want you all to listen to this clip. It's like 4 minutes long. Listen all the way until the end. Listen to what he has to say at the end. And I'll be right back with my thoughts.
They're lost. They can't find them. The remnants are in very difficult terrain, low temperatures, lots of inclement weather, and they're looking, but they haven't been able to find them, except for these spy balloons.
When you say there's been many,
address the nation.
Well, I think that given where we are and the impression that this is some sort of circumstances that's happened in the last couple of weeks, I think at a minimum our director of national intelligence should go in front of the American people and explain what we know, what we don't know, without divulging any classified information. But it's clear to me this is not a recent phenomenon.
Then why do you think the administration waited until now to start bringing this to light?
I don't know.
This has been happening.
I don't know.
Roger Marshall said he feels it's like a fear-mongering. It's intentional fear-mongering.
I don't know. I just know that going into the last two hearings, I had the impression that this was something that had happened over the last 2 weeks, and that's not accurate. This has been going on a long time.
Did they give an explanation as to why they're shooting them down now? Why they're deciding?
They did not.
Yeah, some are saying that it's a wagging of the dog to improve approval ratings.
I don't care to speculate on that. I just know that we need some more transparency. I understand the need for national security secrets, but now that this cow is out of the barn, the president and the director of national intelligence needs to address it. They need to explain to the American people, if they know, and I'm not sure they know, if they know they're not telling us, what these things are, who put them up there, and do they pose a threat to the American people? And if the answer is no, how do they know that?
What's your assessment? Do you feel like there's a threat? Learning what you've just learned, do you feel like the threat level is low or not, or high?
The only thing I feel confident saying right now is that if you are confused, you understand the situation perfectly.
A terrestrial question. What do you think about Nikki Haley announcing that she wants to be the nominee of your party for president?
I think that competition makes all of us better. And I also think, here's my prediction on the presidential election. The experts will be wrong.
Even if you can't tell us what it is, can you tell us whether they have informed you as to the balloon's ability to intercept communications, whether it be radio communications or telecommunications?
Well, this is public information. The administration has said that somehow our military and our intelligence community were able to jam the communications of the spy balloon in terms of it being able to relay information to other third parties, including but not limited to China. I've read that in the paper, but I haven't heard them say that.
But just that one balloon, or all of the objects have this ability?
Just that one balloon. Let me emphasize. Let me say it again. This has been going on for a long time. We know some of the objects. Others we think we probably missed. And we don't know what most of them are.
Senator, do you feel
So bottom line, you're kind of walking away from this thing still having a lot of questions.
Yes. We have unity in confusion.
Thanks, guys.
Did you learn anything significant beyond what's been reported in the news, do you feel?
Yeah, I learned a little bit. I can't talk about all of it, but what I took away from the briefing today, more than the briefing last week, is that this has been going on for a long time.
How long?
At least 2017, and last week we were told 2019. That's what I took away from it today.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Lock your doors tonight.
So as you heard there, the senator's parting message for everyone, for Americans, was to lock your doors at night. Now, I already lock my doors at night. I think most Americans lock their doors at night. But this is more of a figure of speech. That was his way of telling you all that we're not necessarily safe from this. That there may be something here that we should worry about. Now, early on in that little clip, you heard what he was saying, right? That they're reporting that they can't find the objects that they shot down. They can't find the debris from the objects they shot down. Do you really want me to believe that? You can find literally anything. The American government can find anything. If it was something on you, they would find it in a heartbeat. They could find a singular person. In a world full of billions of people, they could find one single person somewhere across the world. Easily. Easily. But they shoot down an object the size of a car, and somehow they can't track where the object falls. They can't track where the debris fell. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is total BS. If it's true, then it shows you that our military is just, and our government, everyone's incompetent. If y'all can't collect the debris from the things y'all are shooting out of the freaking sky, then that shows you that everyone here is incompetent. Now, I do believe there's a lot of incompetent people in our government, but I don't think they're that dumb. And I don't want you all to be that dumb to believe them. Best believe they've collected these objects. And they're not going to be transparent about what these objects are to the American people. Because the reality is, and I'm not saying these objects are from another planet, but I believe these objects are some type of technology that, at the very least, we, as the general public, don't know of. And that's why you're not going to hear much about it. And you know, if this was a distraction, they wouldn't feel the need to do these cover-ups. If this was a distraction, there would be no need for any of this. So why would they be covering something up that was labeled a distraction? It makes no sense. Yet, they're fully comfortable going out here in the headlines and saying, oh, they might have been used car parking lot balloons. What? That's almost as stupid as when they would say UFOs are swamp gas. It's like they are gaslighting us. They don't even try. They don't even try. And they don't even have to. Because that's where we're at as a society. Not many people are paying attention, and the ones that are, they pay attention for a second, and then they go on to the next topic. They go on to the next thing. And I understand that. We all are guilty of that at times. But nothing's ever going to change here. We're never going to get any transparency. We're never going to get the answers that we crave unless we start pushing, unless we keep asking, unless we stay consistent and persistent. But let me know your thoughts about all of this down in the comments. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.